Now let's pick motorsports, whereby the Ministry of Sports has today released the return to sports guidelines, which stakeholders are expected to go through and give their opinions before a return to sport date is set. All sporting disciplines in the country were stopped in March after the first coronavirus case was reported in the country.
Sportsmen and women may soon get their game back on after the Ministry of Sports released return to sport guidelines, though a definite date is yet to be set. Stakeholders have 7 days to go through the document and give their opinions on the set guidelines before a definite date is set for the return of contact and non-contact sporting activities in the country.
I'm aware that stakeholders have waited eagerly for the release of these guidelines by our ministry. Due to the nature of the pandemic, it was imperative to take a delicate, diligent process to satisfy Ministry of Health and World Health Organization directives on the same, including on public participation. The advisory committee will therefore make a comprehensive presentation, after which we will open a window of 7 days for stakeholder engagement and feedback. The guidelines will also be available on the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage website.
Various disciplines will be rolled out in bits and phases, just as has been witnessed in other countries where there has been resumption. These will include testing for players and officials in the first phase, return to individual training and eventually group training. Stakeholders were, however, concerned with testing of players, which they say will be too expensive.
In Kenya, the situation and considerations of safety above all else compelled us to postpone major global and continental sports events. The WRC Safari Rally, the World Athletics Under-20 Championship, the Continental Tour, the Rugby Bathurst Cup, and the magical Kenya Open Golf Championship. The grinding to a halt of all sporting events, though painful, was for a good reason: to ensure the safety and the security of all players in the sector and in the country at large.
All sporting activities in Kenya were stopped in March when the first coronavirus case was reported.